Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Guess who's back in the house with a whole lot of charm and a smile for your mouth? J McMain, what is going on?
Girl, it's the EST. I'm the fastest, the roughest, the toughest, the greatest, the cutest, the strongest person on the Wrestling Talks and Thoughts.
Oh man. We got a lot to talk about. We got a few topics to talk about. We can't cover everything, but we got some things to talk about. Before we even get into, I guess, uh, I guess, you know what? Before we even get into like Raw, SmackDown, or WrestleMania, because WrestleMania is coming up. WrestleMania season is here. It's officially here. And we have a stat card. WrestleMania has actually gotten a lot better as far as how they're building the card and as far as where they're going and as far as how they're putting together everything. And they're really listening to the fans. I'm noticing they're listening to the fans. We have Bobby Lashley as champion. We have I think this is Sean Keys. He says we live because usually when Sean Keys comes on and you don't see Sean Keys' name, it says Facebook user. But if it's not Sean Keys, whoever is joining us, thank you for joining us because we are live, baby. We are live. Thank you for joining us. If you are joining us, please like, share, comment. If you are catching us on Facebook, on our YouTube, please subscribe to us as we go live. You can comment in the comment section. Please join our Facebook group, our Facebook page as we post articles and content. Join in on the conversation, comment on the articles below. We have some of those articles that we are going to show in a few minutes. So Jay, so it's gotten a lot better. Bobby Lashley has become champion. What else? We have Bianca Belair.
Yeah, Bobby Lashley and his God entrance.
The God MC, young Lashley. You said what?
I'd be like, what the hell's going on?
It's dope though. I ain't gonna lie, man. It just is fire, man.
Yeah, it is.
It's just fire. This is God entrance.
He won the belt. I'm like, what the hell's going on? You saw like the little, I want to say fireflies, like I guess a little smoke, whatever it was, and you sort of and it hit. I'm like, what that Goku? This long video. I'm like, oh, okay, Super Saiyan. All
right. We have Rhea Ripley.
Finally.
I spoke about this. We was in a Wrestling Talks group chat, and I was like, I want Rhea Ripley to fight Asuka.
It just made sense.
Huh?
I said it just made sense.
Yeah, it made sense. It made a whole lot of sense. And that's one of the topics that we're going to talk about. So let's keep it spicy. Before we even talk about Raw, before we even go over Mania, before we even talk about NXT, before we talk about SmackDown, let's get into some news and rumors. So this is the thing, right? So I wonder if Rhea Ripley will have a wrestle repeat. I think this should be a discussion. I think some people are kind of like concerned about whether Rhea Ripley will have a WrestleMania repeat. Rhea Ripley will be facing Asuka. She came to Raw. She challenged Asuka to a match. And how do you think that's going to go, Jay?
I look at it from the big aspect of it. Asuka has had the belt since the day after Money in the Bank. No, she lost it. I think she lost it at SummerSlam or Survivor Series. She got it back. She basically had it minus a month since the day after Money in the Bank. I honestly want Rhea to win, so Rhea to bring some kind of flair and something different to the Raw Women's Championship. But we gotta look at it from this aspect too. Rhea hasn't had a match on Raw yet. This Monday coming up is gonna be her first match, but it's a tag match with her and Asuka. So she hasn't had a singles match on Raw yet. So what's the odds of her winning the championship and not having an actual singles match yet? It's kind of slim to me. Now trust me, I wanted to win, but it's just from those odds there.
Interesting. So you are skeptical about whether they're going to pull a trigger on Rhea Ripley winning the title or not?
Yeah, I want them to, because like I said, Asuka has made the Raw Women's Championship kind of So,
I think Asuka has ran her course with the title right now for this season, but Asuka handing over the title to someone in the likes of Rhea Ripley will continue the caliber in which it has been set. Facebook user comes on and says #bars. Sean Schaefer's in the house. Sean Schaefer, what's up? Sean Schaefer says, I want Rhea to win. I think it will bring some excitement back to it. Absolutely. Ant-Man is in the house. What's up, Ant? That's the New York call. Ant-Man. Anthony Cobbs just posted. He says, nah, this is the year for NXT. Bianca and Rhea going to show why NXT is the best wrestling on the planet.
I completely agree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree. So Facebook user says, where could interrupt the match somehow? All right, so who? Oh, I think he's talking about Charlotte. I think he's talking about Charlotte could interrupt, because Charlotte was actually somehow booked.
Yeah,
supposed to be booked for Mania, but then they pulled that out.
Yeah, I heard she had COVID. So being that she tested positive for COVID, that kind of ruined those plans, because I was reading an article earlier and it said right before Andrade's release, he tested positive. So
yeah, I heard that she was misdiagnosed as being pregnant.
Wow.
Yeah, I heard she went to the doctor and misdiagnosed as being pregnant. That's one of the things. Yeah, he says Flair. Yeah, I got you. Facebook user. I got you. Sean Schaefer says, what if Becky makes her return at Mania? What if, Sean? What if?
Maybe after the match, she'll come challenge the winner and say this. So now here's the thing: if that's gonna happen, then they're gonna have Asuka keep it, because then then Becky can come back and say, all right, I gave you the belt, so now I want my belt back, so I'm coming to take it back from you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So Facebook users actually Ethan Wick. Ethan Wick, what's up, man? I'm sorry, I had to turn on my phone and look on Facebook to see who Facebook, because it's showing up on whatchamacallit. It's showing up on StreamYard as Facebook user. And it's showing up on StreamYard as Facebook user. You have to give them rights to use your name. I actually put your name up. But it's Ethan Wick. I had to look on Facebook. It's Ethan Wick. Ethan Wick, what's up, man? Thank you for joining us. Definitely glad you are with us today. Sean Schaefer says, good point on that. Yeah, she definitely needs to show up afterwards. I would definitely want to see Becky show up afterwards. I want to see Rhea win the belt. I think it'll be refreshing to have Rhea Ripley win the belt. It's so interesting saying her name sometimes. Like, it's like how much wood could a woodchuck wood if a woodchuck would when you say Rhea Ripley. It's just rip, the way it rolls off your mouth. Anyway, but yeah, I think Becky showing up after Mania would make more sense. Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair winning the belts, dual champions, and winning the belts at WrestleMania would be dope, because this would be like the first time in history that, or like the second time in history that two of the last Royal Rumble contestants go on to WrestleMania to win championships. I think the first time that happened was Batista and John Cena. Batista went on to fight Triple H. John Cena went on to fight JBL. So this would be this.
You don't know in the back in the day history. Look at that, doing your research.
Yeah, I do. I dabble. I dabble. I dabble. And then you have so you got Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair on one hand, two the final contestants in the Royal Rumble, who will go and challenge for world titles, and I'm hoping that both of them win. I like both of them. I love Rhea. I thought Rhea should have won. She's definitely on my list of favorite female performers. Her and Bianca Belair, love them. But I definitely feel like if anybody, if not Bianca, Rhea should definitely win. She was slighted last year, losing her NXT title, but it will be a glorious thing to see her come back and win the women's title. You know what? I say no. Okay, what you gonna say?
No, I said I agree. It's been pointed out. Me and Ann are definitely big NXT, supporters. You're getting that side, so we can put you in that list too. But yeah, I would actually love. Now, my dream situation would be Shayna actually winning the Raw Women's Championship and Bianca winning the SmackDown Women's Championship. That would be my dream scenario. But I guess since Rhea is in this situation, I guess we got to go with Rhea. So I'll be definitely okay with that. But yeah, I definitely feel that Shayna and Nia should eventually split, and Shayna should push further towards the a singles championship.
Yes, absolutely. I think Shayna should definitely push towards it. Nia Jax, Botchamania needs to. I like Nia. I always like Nia. Don't get me wrong.
Keep her and Reginald together.
He said what?
Keep her and Reginald together.
Yeah, keep her and Reginald together. I always like Nia. Always liked as a performer.
Really?
But besides her botching, but Thickums. Always thought she was a great. Always liked Nia, but I think Shayna Baszler needs. I was pissed off that she actually lost to Naomi. This past Monday, I was like, what are they doing?
Yeah, she's been taking a lot of L's for that team.
Unnecessary L's.
Yeah, she lost to Asuka the week before. A week before that, and she lose to the other two girls, Dana Brooke and the other girl. So yeah, she's been taking a lot of L's, and Nia Jackson's looking as the big one. So
yeah, I was just looking at it. I was just like, why is she even? Because I'm like, are they trying to build her? I can tell the fact that she lost the way she lost, that they are not trying to build on her character. They're just sticking with the whole tag team thing. But at least it was to Naomi, who was a former 2-time world champion. So that's not a bad thing.
All right, so I'm gonna throw this out there. So what I believe is going to be an additional Mania match or possibly a kickoff show.
Yeah.
It's going to be for the women's tag titles.
Okay.
So you're going to have Shayna and Nia, obviously, against Naomi and Lana. against what's her name? Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose.
Yeah.
Against Natalia and Tamina. So it's gonna be a fatal four-way. I'm kind of putting it in the atmosphere because I believe that's what's gonna happen because obviously they don't have opponents yet. And so yeah, I think that's what it's gonna be.
I can see that happening. Ethan Wick says, so this way, so is this what the Enzo story would have been? Enzo story. Oh, as far as like how they would have treated him as a singles competitor. Enzo, Ethan Wick says she hasn't recovered from her whole injury. Whatchamacallit, right? What's her name? Asuka hasn't recovered from an injury.
Yeah, when she got kicked in the face. In the face.
In the face. All right, so let's get on to some news and real news and rumors. Aliester Black. I was excited when I found this article online. Aliester Black's return. Aliester Black. So it's been reported that Aliester Black has been injured, apparently. And the reason why he has not been on TV is because of his injury, and he's working out his injury. So it has nothing to do with creative, apparently. That's what they're saying. I say that in air quotes because, quote unquote, you know, this is what they're saying, this is what they're not saying, blah, blah, blah. So they're saying that it's because of his injury. And then not too long ago, he actually sent out a cryptic message, I believe, not too long ago. I think it was on Twitter, I believe, somewhere. But he sent out a cryptic message saying that who's willing to face Aliester Black, who's ready to have a face-to-face, something like that. He sends out a cryptic message. So
I'll pull up Twitter and find out.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Because I want to know what's happening with Aliester. A lot of us want to know what's happening with Aliester. So it's injury, it's lack of creative. So we don't know yet as far as what's happening. But right now, all we know is that we do not see Aliester Black. But this is what I think. I think he's going to come back after Mania. Because, you know, Wrestlemania is when they hit their reset button and they do things again. And we need more superstar faces. We need Aliester Black. We need Buddy Murphy. We need Keith Lee. We need these guys on the roster. We need new faces, fresh faces to shake things up. Anthony Cobb says, Black versus The Fiend. I'm calling it rivalry of the year. Anthony Cobbs, you have, I want to see that. I want to see that. That would be dope. That would be amazing. I want to see The Fiend versus Aliester Black. But I think that they should definitely build towards it. But however they do it.
Aliester Black. My dream scenario right now.
Yeah.
Would be Aliester Black. Now, yeah, you know what? Bump that. I don't even want him part of Retribution at this point. Yeah, let him come back and just beat him. Because I was going to say we had him come back and, you know, be the real leader of Retribution since we all saw that, you know, Ali got kicked out. But it's crazy because Ali got kicked out, but they said nothing about it since. Or I guess so. Or because we saw, Ali fight last night. So they just kick him out and they just went their separate ways, or they're just trying to find a new leader. Like, I don't understand it. They haven't mentioned it. They haven't said nothing about it. They haven't even brought it up. So there's like the Retribution no longer exists. Like, I don't know, but yeah, I think it'll be cool if, you know, you have Aliester, you know, as a new leader if you go that route. But I definitely want to see him come back and actually be used properly, honestly, like in any role. I mean, because we see Ricochet's. I don't know if Ricochet's match last night was a sign that they're going to start using him a lot more. But
you know, you know what? Jay, that was not a sign of them using Ricochet a lot more. That was another burial. Ricochet has not won a match in like I think like 2 months or something, or 6 months or something like that. Anthony Cobb says either you put Black with the Fiend or you put him against the Fiend. Ricochet, you know what? I was going to actually, one of my topics today was going to be the burial of Ricochet. I was going to talk about the burial of Ricochet. I wanted to talk about that. Like this, just kind of like, even though we kind of know the obvious and see like what's happening here, you know, I don't understand. I don't understand like what's happening with what they're doing with his character. It doesn't make any sense. They're using him as a jobber. This guy is like one of the most. He's probably, if not the most talented person on that roster as far as the highlight reels he can give you. But it's ridiculous how they're not using him. And then they just throw him to like, you know, what's this guy? You know, Drew McIntyre. You know, just for like, you know, a sake of putting him over to make him look strong for his WrestleMania match coming up, which I felt like, you know, you need to do that. Just keep on with the feud, you know, with Bobby Lashley. Like, why would you just be out there just to bury him like that? If anything, if you wanted to make Ricochet look strong, what you could have did was you could have had Ricochet step up to be a challenger, have him fight in a strong match, got rid of that whole, you know, the 2 matches he had, you know, the match that he had against Mustafa Ali and the matches he had against Ricochet, you know, just have him have a nice, strong, decent match against Ricochet and beat Ricochet, even though Ricochet stood up, but it would make Ricochet look strong. And then even though Ricochet had lost, but it still made him look strong because he stood, he accepted the challenge, went after McIntyre. He lost, but he gave him a worthy effort.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Rather than him just going out there for like 5 minutes and just get Claymore kicked in the face. And it's like, what was the point? Like, you know.
But, so my sign that Ricochet's back, he had the pants on yesterday. No tights, no Robin tights, regular pants.
What kind of pants? Like regular?
His regular original Ricochet pants.
Okay, so I was listening to the commentary because I have to be to work at a certain time. So, you know, during Raws, what I do is I play it on my I play the app on my phone and I listen to the commentary to hear what's going on. So if I can't see it, at least I can hear it. You know what I'm saying? So I could be in tune. So he had like regular, he had like Ricochet pants on, or he had like
his when he first came out, when he first started, like the actual pants, not the tights, not the shorts. He had on the wrestling long tights that he wore when he first started.
Okay.
So I'm looking at that as a sign. I'm looking at a positive.
Ethan Wick says he doesn't feel real superhero like.
Yeah, he's not the one only right now.
He says jobber shorts. He definitely had the jobber shorts on. You know, he definitely did. He did. Let's talk about this guy, man. This guy is hilarious. Seth Rollins says he's the greatest WrestleMania performer of all time. Like Ethan Wick says about Ricochet before he went to Saudi Arabia, before he was buried.
He should have never made that trip.
He should have never made that trip. You know what? And I get it. I remember back in the day, like there would be certain matches that wrestlers would have to fight. Like certain wrestlers turned down certain matches. Certain wrestlers chose to lose certain matches. And I like those guys, like Randy Savage, Jericho. You know, Daniel Bryan. You know, there's a lot of wrestlers who've done that. You know what I'm saying? Who've, you know, I've read stories about them, you know, willfully losing matches against other wrestlers to put them over because they seen them as a star and said, all right, this person needs a fair shake at the top, you know, give them that, whatever. But it's like, man, you know, geez, like it's just, anyway, whatever, man. Let me just move on. Seth Rollins says he's the greatest WrestleMania performer of all time. So he sends a message to Cesaro, you know, on Twitter, talking about he's the greatest WrestleMania performer of all times. How many WrestleManias how many WrestleManias has Seth Rollins been at? Like 4 or 5, something like that.
Well,
or more than that, right? Because Shield, right? Shield Day.
Can you forget? Because the last ones when he fought Kevin Owens last year, the year before that, what was it? The Intercontinental title matches. No, it wasn't that. No, the year before. So last year was Kevin Owens. The year before that was Brock Lesnar. The year before that, it was the Intercontinental title. The year before that wasn't like a tag title. Then he had a match with Randy Orton with the arcade, greatest, one of the greatest RKOs. He fought Brock twice. You know, the Kingslayer Triple H match. So he's been the greatest performer, but I wouldn't say all that, Mr. Rollins.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't believe that message. But
okay, all right. So Anthony Cobbs and apparently Chanel agree with Seth Rollins, but I respect you guys' opinion. He says Ant-Man says he is though. Check his resume. Ant says he only has 2 losses. Okay. Ant says he lost to Orton and Owens, but his wins put him up there. And Ant says Brock and Roman and Triple H. Okay, so let's dig into this a little bit. Seth Rollins. Okay, so Seth Rollins has never had a high caliber match. Even though he had the highest caliber matches he's had was Brock Lesnar and Triple H. And his biggest win or his best win at WrestleMania was when he won the cashed in his Money in the Bank at WrestleMania. Like that was his biggest moment. But Seth Rollins has never had a WrestleMania moment as Kofi Kingston. He's never had a WrestleMania moment as Daniel Bryan. He's never had a WrestleMania moment as Austin. He's never had a WrestleMania moment as Hogan. Ethan Wick says, what? He's like, what? No, check this out. Just hear me out. Hear me out. This is why I say this, right? This is why I say it. Let's just hear me out. So when Hogan, I'm just going to break it down. I know you guys have your feelings about Hogan, but I'm just saying it for the sake of the time and what happened, right? When Hogan won WrestleMania 3 and he slammed Andre the Giant, everybody watched. Everybody was behind Hogan. Everybody loved Hogan, right? Everybody's behind it. Everybody cheered. Everybody was satisfied. Everybody was happy. Everybody was that was the guy. Like that was the guy. When Hogan fought Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania, right? Even though Hogan was the guy, Warrior was the new guy. And when Ultimate Warrior won, even though the fans were split between Hogan and Warrior, people were still content with Warrior winning. But that was a great moment. That was like a moment in history, like one of the greatest moments, right? Him fighting Andre the Giant, a great moment. Him fighting Macho Man Randy Savage, great moment. Austin and The Rock, same thing, great moment. Everybody's in tune. Everybody's watching. Everybody's like, oh my, like the world. You felt like the world was watching. Seth Rollins never had that moment. Kofi Kingston had that moment when he won that title against Daniel Bryan. When Daniel Bryan won that WrestleMania, when he was in that triple threat match, it felt like the world was watching. Everybody was watching the guy. Like, this is the guy we want. We want this guy. Seth Rollins was a guy we wanted to win, but he was never like the guy. Like, oh, this is the guy who's going to, like, I could even say Drew McIntyre at some kind of, point, even with his WrestleMania win over Brock Lesnar, like the way he beat Brock Lesnar, or the fact that he was the guy that was going on to beat Brock Lesnar, we were all watching that. Like, but when Seth Rollins fought Triple H, it was like he was fighting Triple H. He's going to beat Triple H. He's going to have a great match. But like, this is not like the guy of the moment, the guy of Mania. Like, he was never the guy of Mania. He's had good matches. His match with Brock Lesnar sucked. I don't care. You guys can tell me whatever you want to tell me. You can say whatever you want to say. His match with Brock Lesnar was horrible.
So I have IWNerd.com. So they Seth Rollins WrestleMania matches.
Yeah.
So the Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins match from last year was not ranked because it was taped, according to what they said.
Okay.
You have the Shield versus the New Age Outlaws and Kane at WrestleMania 30. That was a 2-star match, according to this site. And the match under 3 minutes.
Wow. Okay.
All right. Then you had the Shield versus Randy Orton, Sheamus, and the Big Show at WrestleMania 29. 2.5 stars.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. Then you had Seth Rollins versus Triple H. That match is 3.5 stars.
Mm-hmm.
After that, you have Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor versus The Miz at WrestleMania 34. That was 3.5 stars, 3.5 stars.
Okay.
Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 35 was 3.5 stars.
3.5? Get out of here with that, man. Okay.
And Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar was 4.5 stars at WrestleMania 31.
Okay, that definitely deserves 4.5.
Wait a minute. Did it have? Oh, okay, that was there. Okay, 4. Okay. Oh, Seth Rollins versus Randy Orton was 4 stars.
Mm-hmm.
At WrestleMania 31.
Wait, right. So he didn't even have a 5-star match. So how can he be the greatest WrestleMania performer of all time? He didn't even have a 5-star match yet at WrestleMania.
So he's been competing since WrestleMania 29. So this is about to be 8 years.
8 years.
Wow.
No, not one 5-star match. I'm just saying, men lie, women lie, but numbers don't lie. I would just, right. And I would just give him my perspective of just based on the atmosphere, based on the build, based on the match itself. Like, he never had the biggest climactic moment he's ever had at a WrestleMania. He had, our moments, but his biggest moment was when he actually fought, when he actually cashed in his Money in the Bank. And his big, like, the man moment where he was supposed to be seen as the man at WrestleMania was when he fought Brock Lesnar, and when he beat Brock Lesnar. That was supposed to be, he's the man because he's the guy that beat Brock Lesnar. But it was overshadowed by Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston had the WrestleMania moment. You know what I'm saying? Even though Becky Lynch was the one who walked out with the double titles, the best heavyweight title match at that WrestleMania was Kofi. Kofi had the moment. That was Kofi Mania.
So you don't think the build with him and Triple H at WrestleMania 33, you don't think that was kind of
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
So you don't think that was kind of like a big thing because it was Triple. That's when Seth was, the build before that, Seth was in it wasn't
Authority. The Authority.
The Authority, yeah, he was in the Authority, and then the Authority broke up. So then after that, that's when he ended up. That's when they had the Fatal 4-Way match on Raw for the Universal title, and that's when Triple H betrayed Seth, and then that whole build went to the Mania match where he became the Kingslayer. I think that was a pretty good build for
Yeah, I thought it was.
I think that was at the point where he was supposed to be labeled as the man because at that point he was Mr. Monday Night. He was on Raw for his whole career.
Right. And what happened? And what happened?
He got traded to SmackDown.
I didn't think he was going to say that, but that's exactly what happened. He got traded to SmackDown. But what else happened? When he was supposed to be seen as the man, what happened?
He started killing people.
No, but besides him killing people, he was getting booed.
Yeah, well, because they feel that when he beat Brock, everybody was excited, everybody was hyped. But then it got to the point where I think the fans felt that Vince was kind of force feeding us Seth. Like, all right, y'all don't like Roman, but you're gonna like Seth. He's So it was just like,
right.
Relax.
Exactly. You don't like Jello, but you're gonna like pudding. Like,
right.
Yeah.
In your mouth. Here comes a little plane.
Here comes the Seth Rollins.
So the fans. I mean, the fans got sick of it. It was just like, oh my god, like how is this guy, this superheroic guy that's untouchable, but so yeah, and he's always in the title picture. They always got to have a belt on him to make him relevant. So
right, all right. So we got Trav joining us. What's up, Trav? Comment section real quick. Anthony Crow says. He said Kofi Kingston winning the title was the greatest moment ever. Anthony says he beat Brock twice, and he did beat Brock twice. Even though he beat Brock twice, he beat Brock twice, and it was like, all right, you slayed him twice, whatever, because he's the Beast Slayer now, right? He slays kings and beasts, and occasionally other people's wives when he's not busy.
He's the castle in a fort.
Right, he's the castle in a fort. Right, he's Seth's doing a lot of slaying these days, but he did, but again, all right, but because the topic really at hand is just him being the greatest performer of all times, WrestleMania performer, and I definitely don't think that Seth Rollins is the greatest WrestleMania performer. I think he's definitely gaslighting this one, and but Trav, what do you think?
So, Seth Rollins been the greatest wrestler of all time?
WrestleMania performer of all time.
WrestleMania, oh, okay. That's kind of tough, man. That's kind of tough. I'm not going to say he's the greatest, but maybe the top 10. Because you got so many greats out there. It's not that simple just to put him up top, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. But yeah, probably top 10, honestly. He might be like 6 or 7, but I think his WrestleMania moments, now that may be argumentative that he number 1, maybe 2, but as far as just WrestleMania in general, no, not the number 1 guy. So yeah, that's how I look at it. But the moments, WrestleMania moments, I would definitely give him number 1 for sure, or maybe number 2.
WrestleMania moments?
Like the amount of moments he had at WrestleMania where he just came out and did something special. That at one moment, let me see who I could think of a WrestleMania moment. Like that moment where Brock actually beat The Undertaker. That moment right there was so dramatic and impactful. You was like, wow. But Seth Rollins has had moments at WrestleMania that was just the same, and his moments has been a lot of impactful as well. Yeah, he did slay the beast a couple times, but y'all remember when he cashed in and made it a 3-way match and took that moment away from Roman Reigns, I think it was. He literally just took that moment away. That was Roman Reigns' moment, but he literally cashed in, made it a 3-way match, which we never seen nobody ever do, cash in and make it a 3-way match. And he just took that moment and he made it. He made that actual WrestleMania bigger than what it was, in my opinion.
So,
people may say different.
All right, so not to veer off, but you said so. Then you talk about triple threat matches. I found it kind of ironic that we're gonna see. I may be jumping the gun, but just to see Edge versus Roman versus Daniel Bryan in a triple threat match at WrestleMania. So Raw Rewind last night happened to show the last time Daniel Bryan was in a triple threat match with Randy Orton and Batista. So do you guys think that's going to be a prelude to what happens again? Or
man, it's so funny, man, because when Daniel Bryan interjected himself into that this daggone match, man, I was like, oh my God, get this, listen, I'm like, listen, Daniel, I like you, I respect you a lot, man, but I was like, come on, man, like, listen, I know some of us don't want Edge to be there, some of us do want Edge to be there, but I was very settled with the fact of just having Roman versus Edge. I was settled with that. I'm settled with Roman fighting Edge. Even if Edge wins and holds the belt for like maybe 2-3 months, I'm fine with that. even though I don't want him to, but I'm fine with it.
I'm not.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm not fine with Edge winning that title right now, man. It's like it's not even nothing against Edge. It's not even nothing against what he's done. It's just that, as I said right now, if you take this belt from Roman Reigns, it destroyed the heel that the Roman Reigns that everybody has been waiting to see. This Roman Reigns that we got right now is what everybody been waiting to see. And if you take that title off him, he no longer holds that weight like that. So I say, listen, make it a great triple threat match and let Roman Reigns pull out a trick out of his sleeves as heels do and let him win the title. Because you can't pull it off him right now. Not right now. It's too early. You haven't gave him an entourage to deal with. Right now, we still working with Jay and Paul Heyman. Give him some more people. Let him have his title run for 6 to 8 months, maybe a year, and then turn around and take him off. You said what now?
I think he had it since SummerSlam. So we looking at August, October, November, December, February, March, April. He's had 8 months already.
Yeah, but let me ask you this though: how is he the head of the table with one person standing behind him?
Right, which is true. So listen to this theory. Here's what I think. How I think. Here's how I would book it. And here's how I think it was gonna go.
Okay.
You insert Daniel Bryan into the match. You have Edge pin Daniel Bryan to win the belt. So Roman's whole beef is Daniel should never been there. He should never been in a match because he didn't do anything to win. He didn't earn his opportunity to be there. He lost. And now Roman don't have the belt because of Daniel Bryan. So now he goes on his rampage and brutally attacks Daniel Bryan every week on SmackDown. And so therefore it still builds Roman as a strong heel and the head of the table because of the fact that he's out for revenge to try to get his belt back. But he also, his whole argument is he never got pinned. So he never lost in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me say this, Jay. So I get that, but like I said, the only thing is you still taking that moment away from Roman Reigns. You're going to give this guy the best hero he had in his career, and you're going to take it at the biggest pay-per-view of all time. I say let him win it and let him go on about his day. Because right now, Roman is the reason why people, I'm going to be honest, the only reason why I'm watching SmackDown is because of Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan, and Edge. Other than that, I have no interest in SmackDown other than this fake character they made out of, what's your boy name? The Nigerian born in New Jersey.
Apollo.
Other than his little thing, I have no interest in SmackDown. So I say, listen, let Roman win. Let's flip it. Let Roman win the title and let Edge go on that rant and let Edge and Daniel Bryan go on to battle each other a couple of weeks, heading into Vengeance, and then all of a sudden in Vengeance, Roman Reigns could possibly lose the title of Vengeance, but I'm not with him losing the title until they actually make it look like he's the head of the table with about 3 or 4 more characters behind him. Maybe Naomi, maybe bring Aliester Blacks back and put him behind him, or even Seth Rollins right now because they're not doing that with Seth Rollins. All they doing is putting Cesaro over. So put some people behind him first and then let him lose the title.
But now my question is Edge a heel? Because as we've seen his actions at Fastlane as well as on Friday, he's looking real heelish right now.
Yeah, I think he is a heel.
He playing on the fence. He playing on the fence.
Oh, he definitely is. But I definitely agree with you, Trav, 100%. I don't think I think all of us feel this way. I mean, hopefully I'm speaking for all of us, but I think all of us feel this way, that Roman should not at any cost lose this belt at WrestleMania. For no reason at all. Like, we finally got the Roman that we want, and now that we got the Roman that everybody likes, that everybody can agree on, let's stick with him and let's ride this train out, long enough till we really see him evolve until really looking like the head of the table, and then eventually build up a person. And I don't necessarily think they should build up a person, but just bring Kevin Owens back into the situation and have him take the belt off him. You know what I'm saying?
See, now that's my thing. Like when they was doing that beef with him and KO, and I told Jay this, I said what it should have been that last match to kill that beef, because that beef is not dead. They just destroyed it. They should have had it Roman versus KO. If Roman lost, he quit the WWE, which we know that wasn't gonna happen. But if Roman won, then KO joins him and be under him, and let him turn it up from the inside out, like they let Daniel Bryan tear up the Wyatt family from the inside out, like they let John Cena tear Nexus up from the inside out. That's what I was saying.
Yeah. All right. Let me hit the comment section real quick. Ant says the beard is going to pin Edge. Ant says, I hope Edge is a heel. They need to bring back the rated R superstar. Ant said, or the ultimate opportunist. Ant said, I feel like this is Daniel Bryan last Mania main event. They have to give us one more Yes-O-Mania before he hangs up his boots. I think, you know what? You're right, Anthony. You're right, because I was reading an article about or hearing about Daniel Bryan, and they were saying that this is Daniel Bryan's last run. So I think the reason why he's probably, I don't think Daniel's going to win. I totally don't think Daniel's going to win at all. I just think he's just going to be in the mix. I don't even think he should even be in the match, period. but whatever, right? He's there. Huh?
But who are we, right?
Right, who are we, right? What do we know, right? We just buy tickets. We just buy tickets and the merchandise, right? And we support them, right? What do we know? But this I heard this is supposed to be Daniel's last run. So I think this is the reason why he's in the main event. I think, again, I still don't think he should be in the mix, whatever. But to go back to what you said, Trav, having Kevin Owens, I think even having Kevin Owens join the table, like, I think it'll be too predictable, because we all know Kevin Owens is like our Triple H. He's really, even though you would kind of assume that Seth Rollins would be like the new age Triple H, it's really Kevin Owens, because Kevin Owens is like the more predictable, unpredictable character. Even though like Triple H always does it like better, like Triple H always just hits you out of nowhere with something. Like you never see it coming. With Kevin Owens, it's like you kind of see it coming and you don't know if it's going to come, but then you know it's going to come and then it comes. You know what I'm saying? So, and Kevin Owens has betrayed Sami Zayn like a million times. Kevin Owens joined the New Day and betrayed Kofi. So we know that's Kevin's character. Kevin goes in, Kevin infiltrates, he betrays, he creates opportunity for himself, and he, moves on.
That's a good point. What if Kevin Owens gets involved in this triple threat match and actually helps Roman get the belt, and that's his way of joining the island of relevancy? See,
but my thing is that, all right, I'm sorry, let me hit the comment section real quick. He says, Ann says, why don't you think he should be in the mix? And he says, I think he deserves a one-on-one with Roman. I think he does deserve a one-on-one, but not at.
He lost.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. If I could choose an opponent for Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, whether it be Edge or Daniel Bryan, I would have to go with Edge. I'm gonna tell you why. The reason why I would go with Edge is because we will never get this opportunity. We may not get this opportunity again. We never. You know what I'm saying? This is like a dream match. Even though people don't want to see Edge, this is kind of like a dream match, like, because they talked about this years ago, Edge versus Roman. You know what I'm saying? So, but we can always get it. Kind of like, we already had Daniel versus Roman already. You know what I'm saying? So to see it at Mania, be like, all right, we've seen this already. Right. But you know, but I think, and that's the reason why I think Daniel shouldn't be in the mix. I think Daniel shouldn't be in the mix because this is the first time we're getting Edge versus Roman. I don't want to see I want to see Bobby versus Brock Lesnar. I don't want to see Bobby versus Brock Lesnar, and then all of a sudden here comes Goldberg. You know what I mean? Like no, I just want to see Bobby and Brock. And like get this dude out of here. Go somewhere. You know?
Or you get bagpipes out of nowhere. Like, Drew, what are you doing? Come on.
like
go sit down, Drew.
Right, but this is daggone He-Man sword. Like, get out of here, man. Like, shoot, man. Damn lumberjack coming out with a sword, big old sword, whatever, man. But yeah, man, that's the point. So that's the reason why I think Daniel shouldn't be in the mix, because this is a once. Even though I know some of you guys may be like, nah, I don't want to see Edge, but just think about it. Just look at it from a overall perspective and be like, yo, what if this is a what if moment that is actually being, is being materialized, like something that people have wrote on paper and we can actually see it. It's being materialized. But back to Kevin Owens real quick. The reason why I say Kevin Owens joining the head of the table wouldn't be a good idea is because we know what's going to happen if Kevin Owens joins. We know, like, it's predictable. Like, we know. Like, we know that.
Turn, but it could be one of them. You can't beat them, join them.
Yeah, but then it's like we know he's going to eventually like turn.
Unless they beat him to the punch, they feel like the Hurt Business, he's a weak link, so they just jump him out of it.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, they could, but it won't look right because we know Kevin's not a weak link. We know Kevin.
Yeah,
we know Kevin.
Right. Yeah.
I think we need somebody unassuming like Apollo Crews, like because again, like we're watching this new Apollo Crews, and again, for those who knew anything about Apollo prior to joining the WWE, his name was Uhaa Nation, and he was he's big on indie circuit. I remember there was this guy, he's a sports writer, his name is Big Nasty, and he used to do these videos on wrestling. I used to love his videos, and he used to always do these commentary on videos, talk about the next up and comers and stuff like that. And he spoke about Uhaa Nation, who is Apollo Crews, and he was talking about him. And and when he finally made it to WWE, I was like, okay. And I was just kind of like watching how they were using him, and I was like, all right. But again, he's one of those guys, man. When you give him when you give him the opportunity, you give him that stick, you give him the opportunity, you give him that position, you give him that platform, he's gonna do it. He's gonna sell it. You know what I'm saying? And Apollo Crews is doing it. So Apollo Crews, you know what I'm saying? So I think Apollo Crews is one of those people that people gonna look at and be like, because I even look at Mustafa Ali like that. Mustafa Ali, again, he's not being used properly, but he's great on the mic and he's great in the ring. There's no denying that talent on Mustafa Ali. This is how he's being utilized. But again, Apollo Crews, he's unassuming. He's great on the mic. He's great in the ring. He's unassuming. You know what I'm saying? Like if he would have joined and then tore it from the inside out.
It's funny you said Mustafa.
Well, let me say this, guys. He didn't have to turn it inside out. Y'all do know the brand split draft is coming up, so you could have drafted him up to Monday Night Raw and left Roman in his head of the table situation on SmackDown, and it could have worked out the same way. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you have various options, but with him not having nobody behind him, that doesn't make him look like the head of the table. It's not like he calling the shots on SmackDown because they still got Adam Pearce doing it. He tried to call the shots, but of course, Adam Pearce still is running the show. He's just trying to tell Adam Pearce how to run the show. And as far as Apollo, hey, yo, they got to get rid of that accent. I like it. I like the accent, but it just doesn't fit because he went from talking like me and you to all of a sudden this big old accent that nobody seen coming. It just came left field. I mean, it should have been. It's like Kofi. Kofi Kingston started with an accident, and he lost it.
Right.
That's believable because we got a lot of people that move to the United States and lose their accent eventually.
Right.
But that man did it.
I saw an article about that. It said Apollo Crews' wife is coming to America too, and was like, you know what?
That's 26 All right.
But to your point, side, like you said, Mustafa Ali, it'll be so funny that now Mustafa Ali is no longer part of Retribution. Cedric Alexander's no longer part of the Hurt Business. They'll come to Ricochet like, yo, what's going on, buddy? He was like, oh, so y'all want to join groups thinking y'all was better than me, and I'm still here, and look where y'all at, where I am right now, and I never moved. So that'll be a funny little angle to see how they interject that.
Yeah, no, I want that.
Wait, say it again. You said who joined it together?
He said,
I'm not saying them join together, but at some point backstage, you know, at some point Mustafa Ali, Cedric Alexander, and Ricochet all going to cross paths backstage in some shape, form, or fashion. You remember Ali turned on Ricochet. No, Cedric turned on Ricochet and joined the Hurt Business, and you know Ali was trying to get Ricochet to join Retribution all this time. So now, you know, Ricochet look at him like, yo, y'all both joined factions, and look at y'all now, singles competitors just like me, and I ain't had to join nothing to do anything.
Yeah, that sound like something's gonna happen. It sounds like it's gonna happen. That sounds very realistic. Like that sounds like that's gonna eventually happen. I feel like that's something that's gonna happen, like maybe in the next year or few months when they cross paths. That sounds very realistic. Like, I thought you were going to say something like them actually joining together.
No, that would be whack.
Would it? I mean, you know, would it? It sounds whack. But
yeah, because think about it, they had Ricochet and Cedric Alexander as a team at first, and they were a dope team. And then they just lost steam and they just faded into the black. No point in Aliester, but you know.
Yeah, it was definitely, you know, but all right. So a heel Mustafa Ali, a heel Apollo Crews, a heel Cedric Alexander, and a heel Ricochet. I mean, the heel Ricochet would be crazy.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
Let me say this about Retribution. You know, the signs was pointing they were going to do that for a while. Just like the signs pointed that they were going to break up the Hurt Business for a while. They just flipped the script on us with the Hurt Business. But let me say this. It was a bad idea from the jump to make Mustafa Ali the leader of Retribution. He couldn't even lead himself into the main event. So what makes you think he's going to lead a young, talented group like that past anything? I mean, come on now. I think I told you this, I told Jay this. I said it should have been Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
That should have been Seth Rollins' group. It would have made a lot more sense. The Monday Night Messiah is the leader of Retribution, just like they did with AOP. But, of course, AOP couldn't stay healthy and whatever the case may have been with AOP. But come on, bro.
But I guess the longest they didn't go with Seth was because every time you bring Seth into the mix with somebody, something always happened. You know, AOP was with him at first, and they disappeared. Then you had Austin Theory and Murphy with him. Then Austin Theory got in trouble. He got sent back down. So, you know, the only person that really stuck with him from jump was, Murphy. And then you put him in Retribution, like, oh, here you go, Seth with another group, and Seth with another faction. Here we go again. So I think they kind of branch him off from the whole faction thing.
Okay, so why not Roman Reigns then? Roman Reigns lead the crew, but why not Roman?
Yeah, but I don't think Retribution would fit with the head of the table.
With Roman Reigns? Oh, no. I totally agree with you, Trav. My wife, when we were watching Retribution like come together, and she seen Mustafa Ali, she was like, "This makes no sense."
Yeah.
And you know, I feel like my wife at times say things like I'm sitting there, I'm just watching it sometimes, and I'm just shaking my head. And my wife says what's in my head out loud. So, while I'm doing the verbal expression, I'm sorry, while I'm doing the physical expression, she's verbally expressing it. She's like, that should have been Seth Rollins. I was like, exactly. And what made it worse was that he actually looked like Seth Rollins with the beard and the ring attire. I'm like, what is happening here? So,
very good point.
I definitely agree with you 100%. And Seth Rollins would have made more sense. And I even think Seth Rollins would have gave him a better fashion sense because, they looked horrible. These glue-on masks with the fake Bob Marley dreads. It was ridiculous. But I tell you this. I tell you this. When Buddy Murphy, right, tagged with Seth Rollins, right, you notice his ring attire changed.
Right.
And it looked like Seth, and it was dope. I liked it. I actually went inside of 2K19 and changed Buddy Murphy's ring attire and changed Seth Rollins' ring attire because it was fire. I was like, yo, I like your ring attire. That's fire. And I made it just like that.
My question is this. I get it what you're saying. Maybe not Roman, but why can you easily give Seth Rollins a group, Mustafa Ali a group, MVP a group, but it's so hard for them to give Roman Reigns a group and to let him be what he say he is, the head of the table. The head of the table is not somebody that got one person at the table. That means the head of the table is feeding a family.
Yeah.
And Paul Heyman right now is eating up most of the shine because Jay, every time he get in the ring, he put on a show, but he's getting demolished. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Why is it so hard for them to change out and make that more believable, that situation more believable? Or what's taking so long? Like, I'm still wondering, what's taking so long to change this damn music? Excuse my language. But what's taking so long to change this music? We've been hearing the Shield music forever. I want you to kill that music until you get Dean Ambrose back on Raw or SmackDown, which it's not happening, but I'm just saying, kill that Shield music because we're never going to see the Shield again, probably.
Surprises and change things up, or it could be like Scott said, the Raw after Mania is the best Raw ever. So,
well, let's talk about this because we actually on the topic. This is one of the topics I wanted to cover. The major stables that are breaking up. We have Undisputed Era who broke up. We have Retribution who broke up, and we have
Nexus.
You said Nexus.
Nexus broke up. They were stable. They was pretty stable group when they were.
I'm talking about the stables now, like the stables now.
Oh, okay.
And who else? Hurt Business who broke up. So these are three major stables who broke up in a matter of a month. Like all has happened in March. Right before Mania. March Madness, absolutely. This is madness. So we got who is it? We got the Undisputed. No, okay, not the Undisputed Era, but let's talk about Retribution, right? And just like this whole thing with this whole conversation we're having. So with Retribution, right, and what we have going on with Retribution is we had a lack of a leader, a lack of cohesion with the whole group, right? And then like we have like this whole this whole issue with the stable actually feeling like a stable, even feeling like a major threat. And then they broke up. Like it was doomed from the beginning, right? And all the fans knew that.
Well, let me ask you this before you go on. Did Retribution break up, or did just Mustafa Ali just get kicked out of the group?
That's a good question.
That's a good question. That is a good question.
We haven't seen
that's the question because we don't. It didn't seem like Retribution broke up. It seemed like Slapjack walked out. He's like, "Yo, I'm no longer gonna listen to this guy." And the two big boys, I know their name, but I ain't finna go into that. They were like, well, let's just demolish him. And who is it? Keith Lee's fiance, she was like, okay, I'm following y'all.
She walked off first. She was the first one to walk off.
Okay, so my question, I think we need to postpone the talk about Retribution until we find out whether it was Ali that left the group or Retribution actually breaking up. Because in my opinion,
he got kicked out.
No, he got kicked out. There was no
kicked out.
There was no voluntary.
Yeah, they gave him the boot. Yeah, they gave him the package. You're right. They gave him the package. But I'm just saying, I think it needs to be. I think that's a conversation for another day because we don't know what actually happened with Retribution yet. I would love for them to go back to just attacking people out of nowhere for a little while until they find somebody else to put in place. I got the perfect person to put in his place that I think can lead with less words and less annoying situations. And you guys don't agree with this. He got a dark side.
Aliester?
They haven't, huh?
Aliester?
Aliester Black. He got a dark side. He's very quiet, efficient. He could lead that group and do something crazy with them.
Nah. All right. Hold on a second. All right, before we hold on a second. Before we get into that real quick. Bim Strata says, I missed it. Why did the Hurt Business break up? So the Hurt Business broke up because what was it? Bobby Lashley got into
felt like they was in.
Yeah, so Lashley felt that Cedric and Shelton they first lost the tag titles, but he didn't get into that. But the fact that they had the match against Drew McIntyre. He felt like they were the weak links, and then Shelton was like, "Yo, you want to be champion? Wasn't fast in MVP." So he's like, "Yo, get on my face." And then Lashley attacked Cedric, and then then him and Shelton got into it. So yeah, so there you go, Billiam.
Let me say something about that. The Hurt Business breaking up. I was one of the guys that said I would like to see Lashley do his title reign without the Hurt Business, but I did not expect them to break them up once he got the title.
You got your wish.
Because not actually, because here's the thing. I wanted him to win the title by itself. And I wanted him to win it by himself and then lose it by himself. He won it with the Hurt Business. Now he's going to lose it without the Hurt Business. So when he lose, who is he going to blame? MVP that can barely walk, or he's faking his walk?
But if you think about it, when he won it, he kind of was branched off from the Hurt Business. You kind of think about it realistically, because
because he had the new ring entrance and all that.
And even when he was chasing the Miz, and Miz kept postponing the Raw after Elimination Chamber. Right after that Raw after it was just him and MVP. You didn't see nothing about the Hurt Business like that. So they were just doing their own thing. Outside of the celebration they had after he won, but after that you didn't really see them together like that. It was just always the Hurt Business doing tag matches, and then Lashley doing his singles matches and things like that. So he haven't they were kind of branching him off anyway. So I guess they was trying to, because they want him to be I guess a standalone champ.
Yeah. Bam Strata says I think they should have rocked it longer. I think they should have too. Like I feel like they should have kept the Hurt Business together longer. And then after, like let them, stay together, just maybe for like a few more months, and then eventually, break them off. You know what I mean? Because again, the Hurt Business has done more for Cedric Alexander's career since he lost the Cruiserweight Championship. Like this has done the most for his career, and has actually put a great light on Cedric Alexander. But they definitely should have stayed together longer, and then allow Bobby Lashley to go on as a singles competitor to have him, eventually keep being in a heavyweight title picture,
So let me ask y'all this. I don't know if y'all touched on this before y'all go on while we on Lashley. Who wins the title, Drew or Lashley?
Well, I want Bobby Lashley to remain champion, but it seems very, very predictable. Like Drew is going to go over, because the rumor is, like as we covered before, that the rumor is that Vince wants Drew to be in front of an audience winning the title. They felt like he didn't get the proper Wrestlemania victory that they wanted him to get, so that he could be, properly or widely accepted by the fans. So that's what they want. But I think the more predictable choice is going to be Drew. Real quick in the comment section, Ant says, I don't think the Hurt Business is done. I just feel like Keith Lee is going to come back and take out Drew.
Anthony, I think that's false only because they don't like Keith Lee like that. I honestly don't think it's a injury that's keeping Keith Lee out. I think it's the WWE got him behind closed curtains training, losing a little weight to be a better a better version of himself. So I don't see that happening. It may be a SummerSlam moment, but I don't see that happening right away. So don't get your hopes up on that.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. Bill Strader says, I want Bobby, but I think it's going to be Drew. Anthony says, then go on. He says, this is what Anthony's saying. This is full comment. He says, I don't think the Hurt Business is done. I just feel like Keith Lee is going to come back and take out Drew. He says, and then go on to beat Riddle down the line for the United States title. And then he says, yeah, if that's what I think they're going to, he said, yeah, if that's why I think they're going to turn him here.
Can I say this about Riddle?
Okay.
I see this situation with Riddle where he's this cool bro type of guy outside the ring, and then once he gets inside, he becomes this awesome wrestler and awesome performer. Yeah. But I think they're going to have to go a little bit more darker with him when he gets in the ring. Now, do I think Riddle needs to lose the title right now? No. You can push this kid to something special, but Vince got to be willing to do that. But he got to go a little bit darker when he get in the ring. I saw it a little bit last night. I ain't watched the whole Raw, but I saw it a little bit last night once he lost to Sheamus. I saw that dark side that I've been waiting to see a little bit out of him after he lost. But I think he's got to carry that type of attitude from the moment the bell rang. And I hate to put this reference on it, but y'all remember Festus, right? Jesse and Festus. Right? You remember? But you knew. You knew. And here's the crazy part. Here's the crazy part.
No. Luke Gallows will kill you. Festus. Yeah.
Right. And the crazy part is, a couple of years ago, I used to stay right next door to Jesse, the actual wrestler. I used to stay next door to him. Mm-hmm. But I think they're going to have to give him that Festus feel, but with the bro and broski behind it. Like, real talk, once that bell rings, we need him to be this animal, this vicious pit bull that unleashes every time the bell rings. But when the bell go off, he this cool, calm, collective. Oh, bro, we should get some nachos or something like that. That'll be a nice little feel. But he got to get darker.
Yeah, he does do that now, though. He doesn't have it. Doesn't not as animated as Festus, but
right.
No. I'm not talking about the animation. I'm just talking about the overall dark side. Like, I want him to go darker. I understand he's dark once he get in the ring, but he needs to go darker.
Okay.
So
read that comment.
Yeah, Anthony took the words right out of my mouth. Riddle is the new RVD. That's exactly it. That's a word to my mother, Aunt. That's exactly what I was just about to say. I was about to, after the I was going to say Riddle is the new RVD. I don't think they need to change anything about Riddle. In my opinion, I think they don't need to change anything about Riddle. But I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying, but because I see what you're saying, because it's almost like it's a balance, because his the bro character can come off as a little too goofy. Like, I get you saying, like, not too cartoonish. So I get what you're saying.
No. Mm-hmm. I like the whole bro thing. What I'm saying is, once he steps in the ring, his dark side needs to be darker. I'm not saying it change anything about Riddle. No, what I'm saying is, when he gets in the ring, he needs to be that pit bull that you can snap on and snap off at any moment. So when that bell rings, he needs to snap, like, literally. That's why I use Festus, because you remember when the bell rung, he was this angry guy that wanted to beat up everybody. But when the bell went off, unfortunately, he turned into this little big flubber guy that didn't nobody know who it was. So what I'm saying is, I'm not saying change Riddle character. No, I'm saying is just his dark side when he in the ring, it got to turn up a little bit more. It's got to be that. It's got to be. It's kind of like, who else can I say? It's kind of like it's kind of like it's kind of like the Fiend thing. You know, like when he's Bray Wyatt, he's this goofy, funny, hello, goodbye kind of character. But then once he turns into the Fiend, and he's completely dark-sided. And Riddle still got this little fun guy by him when the bell rings. I'm saying turn him completely dark-sided like the Fiend once that bell rings. Once he steps inside that ropes, bell rings, let him turn into that guy. Because I'm telling you, if they do that, he could be a potential, not saying he will, but he could be a potential candidate for a title run. But that character has to be portrayed a little bit more.
All right. So let's talk about this. Undisputed Era. I've noticed that like no one's really talking about the breakup of Undisputed Era. Like no one's really kind of like, and I guess because everybody feels like this is what was going to happen, and I guess everybody kind of felt like because we've already felt like we're at the place where we've gotten to the end of it, but no one's talked about the Undisputed Era breakup.
Well, for me, I think it's one of those things where everybody gave it a lot of attention while they were together, but once they broke the group up, there was no longer interest in it. I think it hurt WWE more than it helped WWE, but for character, every particular character in themselves benefited from the breakup. From what I'm seeing on previews, I don't like to watch NXT like that because it's more so for me. I like to see when they just come up on the main roster. But I do watch clips, and I do watch clips of NXT, and I just think it's one of those things where nobody really cared about them breaking up. Everybody loved them when they were together, but when they broke them up, I think people just lost interest in what was going to happen next. It's just like the Shield moment. Everybody kind of was sad when they broke up, but they paid attention to the characters develop single-handedly. So I think the WWE really needs to consider a Shield type moment with the attitude with them is to bring them back together at one point in their career, whether it's on the main event roster or the NXT roster, and see is that love still there? Because right now I think the love is not there for them no more. People just looking at them like, hey, they single competitors.
Yeah, I think they should definitely. But we all know like Adam Cole is only going to be capped at NXT if he doesn't move up to the main roster. He's only going to be capped. There was a rumor talking about Shawn Michaels teasing a match or teasing Adam Cole because he's seen Adam Cole and then he walks past Adam Cole, looks at him and gives him a and then he walks past him. Yeah, so because they said that Shawn Michaels says that Adam Cole is reminiscent of him and blah 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 blah. I don't necessarily see it, but I mean because if anybody is reminiscent of the old Heartbreak Kid, it's the Heartache Kid, and that's Dolph Ziggler. So I mean,
let me ask you a question.
No, I don't really think I was joking.
Do you guys think Adam Cole got enough dark enough side, and is he ready to come up to the main? Do you guys think that Adam Cole got enough enough heel in him? Like I don't see it right now, but this is just a question for the future. Do you think he has a side of him where you can bring him up and not make him the leader of Retribution, but a part of Retribution and keep it quiet for as long as possible? Don't have him showing up on every show. Still have him showing up at NXT like nothing is going on, but just have him blink into the main event roster, take a few punches at somebody, jump somebody, and come back to NXT and keep us guessing who that character is that's showing up here and there and not knowing exactly who it is. You see what I'm saying? Do you think he could do that with a mask on? Do you think he's capable of that?
I definitely think Adam Cole is definitely capable of doing something like that. The only thing about that is that it's interesting that you mentioned Retribution again, because I think that if anybody comes in to lead Retribution, they need a facelift, they need a makeover, they need to redo Retribution all over. Like they need to rebrand them. They need to be rebranded. They need to look convincing. They need to look good. And that's the reason why I brought up Buddy Murphy going under Seth Rollins, because when Buddy Murphy went under Seth Rollins, he stopped wearing those little, little cut shorts, and he wore like these long tights. But that, but his own, he wore his same boots, but wore those different tights with with Buddy Murphy on the side that said Disciple. But it looked good for him. It fit Buddy Murphy, and it looked good watching Buddy Murphy and Seth Rollins together. But it gave him a different look, a different appeal. And part of your impression is your presentation, is your appeal. And Retribution look cartoonish. They look like a bunch of cartoon characters. Like I'm not into, like, that's one of the reasons why I can't stand looking at Sheamus. He looks like a cartoon. He looks like a created character on 2K. Like, I can't stand looking at him. So I think if they do have someone come over and take over the reins, they need a whole makeover. They need to rebrand them completely. But we have to wrap up because it's almost going into 30 minutes. I'm sorry, hour and 30 minutes into the show. And we have one more clip we want to show you guys. It is Sasha Banks' new entrance video. J McMahon, are you with me? And this is supposed to be like her concept video, I believe. I'm getting chills.
Get you hype, right?
Yeah, I'm getting chills. I'm trying to not have chills, but I'm getting chills. Okay. I'll be honest, Jay. I kind of expected more.
Really?
Yeah, I did expect a little bit more. I thought it was going to be like something a little bit more like, saucy.
Well, it's just that, then when you add people and entrances, they're probably going to, that's just their general idea. I'm sure they're going to spice it up a little bit more.
Is that from WWE?
No.
Oh, so somebody's, I mean, I thought it was going to be like something crazy.
It could be. It could still be. It's still early, side. It's still early.
It is.
Yeah, well,
all right,
I'm sorry, I cut out for a second. I was saying, if you have a problem looking at Sheamus, I know you most definitely had a problem looking at Paige.
Yeah, I did. I really did at first. And then I realized how sexy she was. And,
Thank you.
That went away very quickly.
You opened your eyes and saw the light.
Yeah, right. I seen the light.
Yeah, I think honestly what really opened it up was that sex tape that dropped.
That kind of helped her.
It was that too. Yes,
that helped.
That really helped. Yep. Yep. That was another contribution. I was like, wow, okay. All right. Okay, all right.
I was not expecting that.
It's like, no, okay. I was like, well, she got a new fan. I mean, it's like, shoot. But yes, Netta Ramsey said, "Sexy, ooh, mind your business, Netta. Get out of here. What are you doing? Mind your business." She popped up out of all the times you pop up just to say, "Get out of here, Netta. What are you talking about?" That's my sister over here trolling my live. We trolling, trolling. All right, but listen, all right, guys, we thank you for joining us for another edition of Wrestling Talks and Thoughts. We know it's been a minute. We had to take care of some business, but we're back, and we will be joining you guys live this Sunday. We're going to be talking about WrestleMania. We're going to, again, cover some of the topics that we didn't cover today in this live. Definitely digging a little bit more into Keith Lee. Digging a little bit more into all the other topics we didn't cover. I can't remember all of them. But, yes, we're going to cover some more, and we're going to talk about what's going to happen at this NXT coming up and Friday Night SmackDown. So please join us live. As we go live, if you are catching us, please share on your Facebook page so you can share with your wrestling buddies so they can join us, so they can comment below in the comment section. Also, like our group page, like our group, join our group. We'll be dropping more content inside the group and the page, so you guys can comment, join in on the comments. Certain articles will drop, certain little articles will drop. We'll do like little games here and there, like rating systems, rate your favorite wrestler, choose. We have one up there right now where we show the Fiend, the new Fiend, and old Fiend. If you guys like the new Fiend design, if you like the old Fiend design. Also, we have another rating system up there where we rate, where we ask you guys to rate John Cena compared to Randy Orton, who you thought was the better performer, like who had a better career. But yeah, definitely join our page, join our group, and join us live as we go live this Sunday. I will set up the live so you guys will know. Hit that notification bell so you can get notified for when we go live, and you will be with us. Once again, I am your host, Saheem the Dream.
Which is the boy, the EST, Word Life. Sorry, Word
Wait, before we go, did you just use Bianca Blair EST?
Oh, yeah, I stole it. I'm the quickest, the fastest, the roughest, the cutest, the strongest person.
Hey, well, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna go. This your boy Trey. Hey, on the Fiend, I love how they cleaned it up. I'm gonna talk about it next show.
All right. Thank you guys, and we will see you guys later. Peace.